typical African country. So we are in Nairobi, which is the capital city of Kenya. And Nairobi is one of the 5 cities we have in Kenya. So the oldest city in Kenya is called Mombasa, which is found in the coast. Then the second oldest is Nairobi, which began as a result of the construction of the Kenya-Uganda railway. So the two countries, Kenya and Uganda, were connected with a train because there were no airports, there were no roads. So the only means of transport from Africa to Europe was through the ocean. So the first thing was to connect the two countries, Kenya and Uganda, when Muzungu arrived. So during the construction of the Kenya-Uganda railway, it started from Mombasa. They came all the way and arrived in Nairobi. They found that Nairobi was a forest. So Nairobi became the second oldest city. Then they continued and arrived in Uganda. But before Uganda, there is a town called Kisumu, which is at the border between Kenya and Uganda. But on the far side, because at the border there is a lake called Lake Victoria. So it arrived at the lake, and everything now could be transported from Uganda through the lake, then to Kisumu, which is the city. Then that's where we had the first train station, which could transport goods to Nairobi. Then Nairobi had grown as a city, then to Mombasa. Then after that, we had, some few years ago, we had Nakuru became the 4th city, and it happened to be one of the cleanest city in Kenya. Then lastly, we have a new city which is about 5 months old now. It's called Kisumu, known as the City of the Champions. Because that's the City of the Champions. Because with its like the climate, it's on the highlands, and it's a very nice place for the marathon runners. So most of the marathons come from that region, and so we call it the City of the Champions.
Where's Barack Obama from?
From Kisumu.
Kisumu?
Like from that region of Kisumu, because his father was a Luo. His father was called Barack Obama. And from the Luo community, the second name of a man starts with O. That's why we have Obama, Odinga, Omoro, Otieno. Yeah. Then for the women, it starts with A. So if your father is called Omoro, she will be Amolo. Yeah. So like most of their names, like I will teach you more of this as we continue, but most of the names, it's easier because all these people from the streets come from different tribes. So it's easier to tell which tribe you come from your second name. So my second name starts with N, and I'm Ndongo. So
Ndongo.
Dongo. N-D-U-N-G-U, Dongo. So when I meet with someone in the streets and ask me the second name, they will tell which tribe I come from.
Is it important to ask? Like that's the first thing in Uganda.
Yeah. My
guide said that's the first thing you ask. Like, what is your tribe?
Yeah, it's also maybe for you it's difficult even to remember. When you meet someone, a total of 43 tribes we have in our country. These are so many tribes. So maybe you can easily tell that the most important thing is that the second name, after knowing that the second name defines your tribe, is easier for you. So all these people interact in Swahili. Swahili is a language which was born as a result of the intermarriages between the Arabs and the people of East Africa, including the explorers who were the Portuguese. So Swahili is born from the Arabs, the Portuguese, and the people of East Africa from different tribes, about 300 years ago. So I'm going to teach you some of the Swahili. Nairobi is not very old in comparison with the Scottish cities, comparison with Cologne and country do you come? With Vienna. We have most of our buildings are very modern. So I'm going to take you to some of the places we have important like landmarks, old buildings that we talk about. Then I'll give you some history of the city, cultures, and some sightseeing as well. And thank you so much for booking with us. We have do's and don'ts. For security reasons, I'm going to explain why. We don't use plastic bags in our country. We use plastic bottles, but plastic bags are not around. We don't smoke on the streets. It's called Tobacco Act 2009. Since 2009, the government has prohibited people from smoking on the streets. So avoid smoking. I'll let you know the places we smoke, and the rest I'll do. So
How about buying seashells?
there are people smokes, but maybe in the nightlife.
No, seashells. You know,
Seashells.
you cannot buy seashells, right?
No.
I got caught at the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seashells and animals products like animals tusks and all that. Those ones are not arrived. Yeah. Let me let me see if the other person has arrived because I can streets of Nairobi. And as I was saying, we have do's and don'ts. We don't use we don't smoke on the streets. We don't use plastic bags everywhere in our country. We don't take pictures of administration buildings. So the rest I'll do's. You can do everything apart from that. So for the pictures, I'll let you know where we will not take pictures. And as we walk around, I also advise tourists not to have like jewelries because they might attract like
Snatchers.
yeah, snatchers on the streets and someone will grab it from the neck. But for the pictures, videos, those ones you will take. But again, avoid taking pictures in a very, very congested place. Again, it will also attract
Snatchers.
yeah. So thank you so much for booking with us. Thank you for coming, and our tour starts from here towards this direction. In case of any questions, I'm very ready to every question, every discussion. And in case you don't ask questions, I will ask you so many questions. So thank you for coming, thank you for booking, and let's start. Maybe come closer this way. So from here, I want to explain about Nairobi buses, which are very colorful with music, graffitis and all that. Then I will explain about this Kenyan National Archive, which has got two flags. You can see it has got two flags. We have it's the flag of East Africa. Yeah. So then I will explain why we have people seated around here. So one is the Nairobi buses. So the Nairobi buses are called matatu.
Matatu.
Matatu. And matatu came from a Swahili word tatu, which simply means three. So in this
Three.
Three. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, 3.
Yeah. When the buses were introduced, this one was the first bus station at this park here. So this park was the first bus station. The population of Nairobi was very small. But now when the population of Nairobi started growing, the number of buses started increasing. So with the increase in Nairobi buses, the population of this area, it was not enough. This space was not enough for the buses. So the buses started shifting to the streets. And one of them shifted from this park to this street. So that street is the oldest bus station. When you see those bus stations over there, that one is the oldest bus station. Then the buses started they became private buses. So they increased they started charging different prices from one place to the other. The second thing, the buses changed the operation because they used to have fixed timetable and fixed amount of money they were charging. So now they don't have fixed timetable, they don't have fixed amount of money that they're charging. They keep on moving from one place to the other. And from one point to the other, they will change prices with time, in the morning, in the evening and all that. That's why, because they're privately owned, they came up with an idea of decorations. So they will be decorated with music, graffitis, Wi-Fi's and all that, so that they can be more attractive to the people. And once they are more attractive to the people, they will be getting full easily. So the decorated bars are more expensive, the rest decorated bars are cheap. And the reason they are decorated is because we know that in case you pick a decorated bus, it's going to be cheaper. I know it's going to be more expensive, but it's going to save your time. But in case you take a less decorated bus, an old bus, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be cheaper, but it takes a lot of time along the way because of the peaks and drops along the way.
How do you know how much to pay?
You listen to them. We already know that if you operate from this route, you live in this area because nobody lives in the city center. So in case you live in a certain area, the buses will be more expensive, maybe, and you will be knowing how much in the morning and how much in the evening they charges. In the midday they are cheaper because already people have already traveled.
Oh.
Yeah. So then the government realized that these buses, the way of operation with the buses is they are colorful and all that. So the government introduced an award that is given to the most colorful bus of the year. So these people will vote the most colorful bus of this year. And once you vote for the most colorful bus of the year, it's given an award. Maybe some of them like cash, or others are awarded a certain award. So that's why they also compete for the most colorful bus of the year. So sometimes this route will have the most colorful bus, sometimes this route will have the most colorful bus. They keep on changing from time to time. But it's very difficult for the new people in the city to tell which buses to pick from which places. So the first thing I advise you, once you want to live in the city, once you want to learn the streets of Nairobi, ensure that you know which areas, the names of the streets. So once you want to go to a certain place, you just need to call someone like Nicholas and ask them, Nicholas, where do I pick the buses towards this area? I will send you to a certain street. So that's how these buses operate. We have the Kenya National Archives, which was initially a museum, an Indian bank. But from 1965, the second vice president of Kenya was half Kenyan, half Indian. He was so much interested in the African cultures and traditions. So he went ahead all over Africa collecting artifacts, items and documentaries that explain the cultures and traditions of these people, the people of Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. So once we want to learn about African cultures and traditions, this is where we are recommended by the government to go and do a research. So it's mostly about African cultures and traditions. But we have the Kenyan, the Nairobi National Museum, which has got everything. So this mostly is more cultures and traditions. Any questions? So we are members of the East African community. And members of the East African community is about 9 countries where we do businesses together. You don't need a passport, you don't need a visa to travel to those countries. So that's why we have the East African flag. Mostly in the government offices, maybe in the like some of these buildings with the history and all that, the museums and all that. Then the other one is the Kenyan flag, which has got 4 colors. I'm going to explain further about the Kenyan flag as we walk around. Any question?
What's the population of Nairobi?
Oh, sorry. I was almost. Okay. So the city of Nairobi has a population of about 5 million people. Those are the people who live in every part that is called Nairobi. But on a normal day from Monday to Friday, it's the busiest day because we have other people who live out of the city but they work in the city. We believe we have like 8 million people. So we have like 3 million extra people who come to Nairobi using the buses. And the buses are called matatu. So that's why we have a lot of traffic, because it is believed that in a group of 100 people, only one person drives to work. So 99 people walks or use the public transport. So that's why you find majority of the people use. We don't have metros, we don't have subways, so majority of the people are using
Matatu.
Matatu. And we call them matatu. We added ma from the word tatu because the plural in Swahili comes at the beginning. So that is why we call white people, one is mzungu, but many are called wazungu. Wazungu. So we add wa, ma. Swahili is the borrowed language, so the plural comes at the beginning and it's different from. Yeah.
What is the difference, mazungu and wazungu?
Wa is many.
Many.
Zungu is one.
One.
Yeah.
Oh. Is muzungu for Chinese people also?
No, for the Chinese, Koreans and Japanese, we generalize them and call them Chinese. So in Swahili, we call them Wa China.
Just now I'm walking around and a lot of guys are saying to me, ching chong, ching chong, ching chong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For the Chinese,
What
Koreans, Japanese,
What
everyone
does
of
that
them,
mean? Ching chong, ching chong.
all of them, we call them Chinese. So in Swahili, we call them Wa China.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mchina. Mchina is one and Wa China are many. Then the Africans, whether you are from Kenya, from Germany, from any place but of African descent, Uganda, Tanzania, is very difficult to differentiate. So all of them, we call them Africans, and in Swahili we call them Waafrika.
Waafrika.
Waafrika. One is Mwafrika, many are Waafrika.
Many.
Mwafrika.
Waafrika. Waafrika.
Then we have the rest are like the Arabs. Anyone from Africa or anywhere but of Arabic descent, we call them Warabu.
Warabu.
Warabu. One is Mwarabu, many are called Warabu.
Warabu.
Yeah. And then we have Wazungu. Wazungu is the white people. Anyone white, we call them Wazungu. One is Mzungu.
But
it's very positive.
In Uganda,
Yeah.
they said Chinese is also Muzungu.
Yeah, like some of the countries it's difficult to differentiate.
Yeah.
But for us, we can differentiate between even the Indians. We call them Wahindi.
Mwahindi.
One is Muhindi, but many are called Wahindi.
Ah.
Yeah. So we add Wa. But Swahili is changing from word to word. Some of them is Wa one, some of them are Ma, like the Matatus when they are many.
How about Filipino?
Are they like of which descent? Is it Chinese or?
Little bit, yeah.
I think we call them Wa
Chinese, okay.
Wa China. So from here we are heading to the most congested place. So request like maybe you put your phone carefully because this is the most congested area in like 100 meters from here.
Okay.
Sometimes I would request you to like maybe put your phone in the bag and put it like carefully. Then for you, I would advise you to remove this chain because we don't know who is good and who is bad. Sometimes they will grab it from the neck, and which has happened, especially in this area. But the rest of the places are safe. So for those who have like their bags, you can.
Should I put it in front?
Yeah. You can put your bag in front and put your phone like safely in front. Because this one was the first meeting point, and once the government and we have this huge building that we are going to see it better from that side. This building is like the landmark of Nairobi, which is the Hilton, which was initially the Hilton Hotel, but now it closed down its operation in 2022, 20th of December. So now, once the buses shifted from this park to the streets, the government decided, because this one was like the meeting point for the people, the government decided to build some seats for the people. So with the high rate of unemployment, majority of the young people comes to the city, and everyone. This one works as a meeting point. Two, works as the only place that people can sit. We have other places, but this is like the central place that people meet, sit. Then most of the bus stations are this way. They were introduced from this street towards this direction. So all of them started operating from this direction. So it's easier in case I was meeting with someone at this point. Once we finish, I'll go to my bus station and they will walk to their bus station. Yeah. So there are so many reasons. High rate of unemployment is one of the reasons. Two, like they are coming here to meet with other people. Three, it's one of the places that people can sit. And also four, is because of the landmark of this Hilton building. So at least you can say, let's meet at Hilton Park, which is this one. Yeah. So you good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to like
Hilton
put your
Park.
phone safely and the bag safely, cover your bag, and maybe carry it safely as we walk here. But it's safe. I have never had anyone losing their phone and all that, but I have had so many instances of people losing their jewelries, and some of them expensive and others cheap. Yeah. You good? Ready?
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go. So you can put your bag in the pocket.
Hilton Park. Hilton.
For example, like this one here, it's more expensive than the normal buses. And again, the Kambua one. But maybe there's a year these Kambua ones are going to be the most like the most expensive, or the ones that are going to be awarded. But one of them from that loot.
How expensive is expensive?
The normal buses are like, let's say like on the like these hours, depending with the distance, majority of them are like half a dollar. But in the evening they will be like 0.5 USD, which is expensive in comparison with how much people earn here. Yeah. So we say it's like not expensive, but in comparison with the less decorated, you have your choice. You can go to the less decorated bus. You can go to the most decorated bus. So the most decorated one is more expensive.
I saw on YouTube some have karaoke.
Yeah.
Karaoke and music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of like some of these musics are coming from these buses. At nights they will have those rides, and they are very colorful at nights and all that. Yeah. They are like party buses, but sometimes on the weekends they would operate like party buses. People will take them from here and go to the border between Kenya and Tanzania. From Kenya, like mostly they go to the border between Kenya and Tanzania because it's closer than the border between Kenya and Uganda.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah. Nicholas, why there are so many people with cameras?
Yeah, that's one of the questions that
Yeah.
he asked, and I wanted to explain from this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have the Ministry of Finance. We have. So from here, we have a lot of people filming and taking videos and all that. So the reason, like I said, we have high rate of unemployment. And with high rate of unemployment, majority of the people are changing to becoming YouTubers, TikTokers, influencers and all that. Then they don't own like very good phones with good cameras and all that. So what they do, we have people who realized and they bought cameras and photograph like those materials to like make videos and all that. So they came to the streets, and in case Nicholas is an influencer who wants videos of himself and all that, I will go to them. They will take videos of me, pictures of me and all that. Then I will pay them. They will edit the videos and send them to me. Then I can post them on my social medias like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and all that.
Wow.
Then once I do it, I will get maybe some people who I will get a lot of followers and people who want to promote and their products on my social medias. Then they have made money from there. So these are like people who are doing it as a business. Then there is me who will be paying to get these services from them. Yeah. So that's why we have like people filming, and we have some, but mostly on Sundays, like on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, that's when we have a lot of people, because there is less traffic. We don't have anyone who lives in all these buildings you see around. All these buildings you see around, people live out of the city. And once people live out of the city, they come to the city every morning and they go up their homes every evening. So on the weekends, they rarely come to the city, and so there is less businesses for them on the weekends. Yeah, there is less businesses for the normal people who work in the city on the weekends, but there is more business for the photographers, because those people who are coming to the city, like the young people, they're coming to the city for businesses and like this, taking of these videos and all that. So that's why you find a lot of them comes on Sundays, Saturdays and Sundays. They will do a lot of videos, TikToks on the streets. Yeah. Any question?
No. But next time when you explain, can you do it in the shade, please?
Yeah.
Very
It's
hot.
only that I want us to cross this way.
Very hot.
Yeah. Let's cross the road.
Does the car have to stop if it's a zebra crossing?
No, mostly we stop them with our hands.
Oh. I noticed here there are quite a lot of female Uber driver.
Yeah. But
Compared
it's
to
becoming common. It was not like this before. It's becoming like common.
yeah.
Before we didn't have a lot of them.
I think the females in Kenya are very independent.
Yeah. Because initially men are the ones who used to provide for everyone and
Yeah.
for everything. But now it has changed that
Yeah.
both men and women, we have a lot of single parents and
Yeah.
they provide for their children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do in US is actually Canada went down. US was giving us majority of
Also, ihr müsst das noch nachdenken, weil das ist gar nicht so. Ja, cool.
Das, was sie jetzt mit uns hat, auch die Ergebnisse dabei. Das wussten wir eigentlich gar nicht. Von der Seite zurückgekommen. Und auf einmal alles. Wir hatten gerade angefangen, praktisch die Straße zu überqueren. Da meinte auch, bis ja darüber sind, dauert es mehrere Tage. Aber das war wirklich verrückt, so dass links, rechts, vor dir waren nur zigtausend bis zu Zebra zu stellen. Ja, genau. Wie ist das mit dem Fluss zu Krokodil? Das heißt, I wish.
Am Museepark sind sie auch mega verlockend, weil die genau online Sachen. Ja, genau.
So you want to take pictures of the barn?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wahrscheinlich auf der anderen Seite von Washington, weil die waren in Washington.
Das ist bei meinem besser als ich kann ich gar nicht
We'll actually be for 3 days and then fly back home on Friday. So I'll be home Saturday basically. Yeah. I think I gained 12 hours, 8 hours. Yeah, it's good.
So you've taken videos and pictures of the places that you visited.
Yeah.
All of them.
I can share my channel later.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want, you can have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not so professional. I just
Nobody. Sorry.
I don't
for the memories.
I
Most of them
I
are-
don't even edit. You know, I just whatever I take, I just put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The summer is horrible. So it's, yeah. It's just not as good.
Look, another photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the areas you see professional photographers and the areas that are around to take pictures.
Yeah. I saw some professional TikTokers in Uganda.
Yeah.
They're very good at dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the Marines, we were working down Central America, and then we stopped off in HMS Ocean and maiden voyage actually. So we stopped off in Miami, so then we had some marinara in Florida, so we ended up to Tampa.
Oh, okay. That's 3 hours.
Yeah,
4 hours. Clear on the coast.
clear water.
Yeah, that's what the
No pictures here, no pictures, no videos.
Oh,
This is a bank.
It's beautiful. It's awesome.
I'll take this side. This side, okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got there and a few days fishing and stuff there in the Gulf of America now.
But bank is not a government building.
Yeah.
Bank
No,
is
but
not.
because of the bank robberies that we had before.
Oh,
Yeah. So let's stop here.
okay.
So let's stop here. Let's stop here. Hi. Sorry. So from here, I will talk about securities we have in our countries and all that. So one, this is where this building here is called the August 7 Memorial Park, the small building which is in the park. It's called the August 7 Memorial Park. And in August 7, 1998, that is where we had the first US embassy. But in 1998, it was attacked. It was a 7-story building attacked by the Al-Qaeda, and the whole building went down. And after the building went down, 218 people died, and over 4,000 people got injured.
Ouch.
So for that reason, 1998, the US embassy was inside this park. So for that
Twin
reason,
Towers was 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
So after this attack, the government relocated all the embassies from the city center. We no longer have embassies in the city center. This one has been left as a historic park. Then all the embassies have been relocated to the western, no, to the Karura Forest, an area called Gigiri. And the embassies are not allowed to build historic buildings. So this one has been just left as a park. And we have had some other terrorism attack. 2013, we had a mall, but this one is by the Al-Qaeda, the Al-Shabaabs from Somalia.
What
So
mall
Soma-
is that? Restaurant?
Yeah, Westland is called Westgate Mall. So the mall is in Westland, and it was one of the biggest malls in the Westland, attracting so many people like tourists and all that. And because tourism is the second biggest industry in our country, the terrorists started attacking the malls, and by that time they came with like guns, armed in guns, like 6 people. They were shooting to everyone who was in the mall. They killed about 67 people. Yeah. Then the government became very strict on securities. Then the second one was 2015, 2 years later. And by that time we had a lot of security awareness, and they couldn't come to the city. So they went to the border between Kenya and Somalia in a town called Garissa, and they were shooting to the students in a university called Garissa University.
Wow.
They killed about 147 students.
So the shooters were Somalian or Kenyan?
They were these terrorists are like
From everywhere?
Yeah, from everywhere. Some of them are recruited from Kenya, others, yeah. So they killed 147 students, and the government became now very, very strict on that. We deployed so many police officers on the streets, and so many security cautions in the entrances of those places. There is a lot of security checkups. That's how we managed to keep off terrorism from the cities.
Is it always religious terrorism?
Yeah, mostly they are religious, because they tend to, we are 60% Christians and about 20% Muslims, and the rest are Hindus, Jews and all that. So for that reason, once they are Muslims, they tend to want to break the relationship between Christianity, and so that people would now focus and say the Muslims are the ones who are attacking us, and so that we can start fighting against. But people have come to realize that this one is happening between the Al-Shabaabs and the people from Kenya, because we already have our militaries in Somalia. Yeah. And they went to stabilize the country because it's facing a lot of civil war. Yeah.
How about the DRC? That's a problem there now, right?
That one is, I think it's being caused by different forces.
Oh.
Like some of them are local forces and others are. Then there is a time Nairobi was very dangerous. We used to call it Nairobi because of robberies, pickpocketing, mugging, and all that. And the police officer deployed so many. The government deployed so many police officers on the streets, and they could shoot to kill some of the criminals who were like terrorizing people on the streets.
Wow.
And that's when Nairobi changed from Nairobi to Nairobi. It was initially called Nairobi.
What year was this?
About 15 years ago.
Oh.
Like around 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Now it's okay.
Now it's
yeah.
safe.
It's like one of the safest countries.
Yeah, at least we have some of the criminals who like tends to be on the street, and they you can. It's not very easy for the tourists, but for us who knows the streets, we know that this person has been in some of the places that maybe he grabbed something and I saw him running away and I marked him. Yeah, we know them, but there are very few. They don't steal, like maybe they grab a phone or like necklaces with knives and
nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy. There are people that you can
Just petty crime.
confront and deal with them directly when they.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any question? So from
You said tourism is the second largest economic section. What is the largest?
the largest is agriculture. We export a lot of coffee, tea, fresh flowers, and animal skins to other countries. So agriculture is the biggest.
But
Yeah.
tourism means safari, right?
Safaris and people like lots of people who brings like foreign exchange to our country.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like us.
thank you. So from here, yeah,
And the beach.
and the beach, like those people who go to the coast, those who.
What's the best beach over here? I want to see if I chose
I
right.
think Diani.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I chose it. Okay.
Yeah, so from here we are now heading
Sounds
to the
good.
areas where we don't take pictures anymore. So from there I don't expect maybe the cameras to be like all that because they are very protected. So we will see the Central Bank of Kenya, we will see one of the colorful buildings in the streets, and we will go to the offices of the president, ministries and parliament. Those areas no pictures anymore.
Okay.
You good?
Okay.
And I want us to walk a little bit quickly because of the rain might fall any time. No, January from November, December, January.
Tell me when to stop.
Yeah,
Tell me when to stop.
yeah, like this area from here, no pictures. So no pictures anymore.
Okay.
This building is is actually the famous building in Nairobi. It's called KICC, which simply means Kenyatta International Convention Center. It's a 28-story building, which is the only building with accessible rooftop. So people go to the top to have the view of the whole city. The building is two parts. One is this part that looks like a UFO, no, like a spaceship, and the other one, these are offices. Then from the top, it looks like an open flower. So down here, the smaller part of the building looks like a flower that's not yet blossomed. Then from the top is like a blossomed flower. So most of the people, when they are new to the city, the tourists and all that, like taking pictures of the building and with the building, because the building is more attractive than other buildings we have in Nairobi. It was built it started in 1967, but it was completed in 1973. Opened during the leadership of the first president, and that's why it was called KICC, Kenyatta International Convention Center.
Are we allowed to take a picture?
Yeah, this one you are allowed to take pictures. Then this is the Ministry of Education. Education system in our country is 844. We have 8 years in primary school, 4 years in secondary school, and 4 years in university. We have free primary and secondaries, but universities are very expensive. So universities are not very affordable.
Not free.
Yeah,
For
universities,
the
both
locals.
public and private, are expensive because it's not affordable to most of the families. Yeah. But primary and secondaries are affordable because at least people can contribute a certain amount of money that maybe in a month people can, let's say like in a term, 3 months, people can afford to pay for their children in primary and secondary. But universities are expensive.
But all children can read and write.
Yeah, children like for primary and secondary, most of the children go to school, and we are taught in English and Swahili. So most of the things we are taught in English, then Swahili is taught as a language. So in school we learn English and Swahili. Yeah.
That's why high level of English here.
Yeah, majority of the people, especially those who went to school, speaks in English. This is the Ministry of Treasury, the National Treasury, which is simply the Ministry of Finance. This is the Times Tower where we pay our taxes from. And this is Kenya Police Vigilance House. So all the buildings which have got like they are of police officers, all protected by the police vehicles, they have these colors. Navy blue, which it looks like a German flag, but it's not black, it's navy blue, which is typically the first uniform that the police officers used to wear. Then red represents the use of firearm and force, because they have powers sometimes of using their firearms and all that. Then yellow is in their crown. Every police officer's hat has got a crown, which is yellow in color. So it's just a coincidence that it looks like a German flag, which is not a German flag. Yeah, and that's why we don't take a picture of it, because it's Kenya Police Vigilance House. Yeah, that is the office of IG, Inspector General of Police. Yeah, the head of the police department. Any question? So from here, no pictures again, only of this building. So the next one, we are going to see the office of the president, the office of the deputy president, and the parliament.
So definitely no pictures there.
Therefore, no pictures anymore. Of this parliament, and the parliament is divided into two houses. We have we have two houses in the parliament. One is the National Assembly, and the other one is Senate. Under the new Constitution 2010, Kenya was divided into 47 counties. So that's why we have two governments. We have the national government and the county government. So we are in the county government of Nairobi. Then we have other counties, a total of 47. Then this is the parliament. That's why it has got two houses. The Senate, this is the Senate, which is the smallest house, and the other one is the National Assembly. So the clock tower divides the Senate and the National Assembly on the other side. So this is where passing of bills by the National Assembly happens. This is where impeachment of the governors, because the Senate are like oversight of the counties. So we've copied a lot from US, but in case a bill is passed in the National Assembly, it doesn't proceed to the Senate. That's the only difference. So they don't work together, apart from when we have impeachments. So this is the Kenyan Parliament with the two houses, and it was initially constructed during the colonial time. It was called Regco. Then the other side is this is where you can see a lot of Kenyan flags, is the mausoleum of the first president. So our first president, Jomo Kenyatta, when he died, his body was put inside here. So it's protected by the military 24/7, and it has a lot of Kenyan flags with four colors: black, white, red, and green. Black representing the people, white representing peace, like black represents the skin color of the people, white represents peace, red represents the bloodshed during the struggle for independence, and green represents nature. Then in the middle is the spear and the shield, which is of course the weapon that was used when we were fighting for the freedom. Yeah. So this is one of the protected areas. But once we get inside here, because I want us to go to the KICC and exit from the other side, from inside you will be allowed to take pictures.
Is it a Maasai weapon on the flag?
Yeah, we took the Maasai weapon because every tribe had their own spears and the shield. But because Maasais have been able to maintain their cultures and traditions, that's why we took the Maasai spear and the shield. The reason we took the Maasai spear and the shield is because of how they've been able to maintain the cultures and traditions. You good? Proceed.
Can I video here? No?
From inside. His name was a coincidence because he was initially called Johnston Kamau. But now when he was young, he went to UK, he could speak in English. So once he came here, he was like a translator. And he went to so many parts of the country. But now when he was living here, the Maasai nicknamed him a man of the shorts, because rarely people wear shorts. They mostly here we wear like trousers. So during that time he was nicknamed a man of the short. In Maasai is Kenyatta. So the Maasai used to call him, because Nairobi was initially a forest, and that's where the word Nairobi came from, which means a place of cold water. It had very cold water, and the Maasai used to call it Nkare Nairobi. Enkare Nairobi, which means a place of cold water. But when the Maasai, when Wazungu arrived, they came and asked the Maasai people, what do you call this place? And they were told that this is a place of cold water. They were told it's called Enkare Nairobi, which was very difficult for Wazungus to pronounce. So they end up pronouncing it as
Nairobi.
Then Jomo Kenyatta, when he was walking around, he was nicknamed the man of the leather belt, which is Kenyatta. So it became a very famous name to him. Even people couldn't call him his real name, Johnston Kamau. They called him Kenyatta, and he acquired the names, and he became Kenyatta. Then the tribe he was coming from, Kikuyu, nicknamed him as the leader of the community. He was seen as the
main leader.
The main leader of the community. So he was called Jomo. So he got Jomo from the Kikuyus as the head of the Kikuyus. Then, like the leader of the Kikuyus he was nicknamed Jomo. Then Kenyatta by the Maasai, he became Jomo Kenyatta. For a long time, he was famous with the two names, and eventually, he became Jomo Kenyatta. Then, by the time we were gaining independence, Kenya had been referred to as the mountain, from the mountain, and the mountain is the second tallest mountain in Kenya, which is called Mount Kirinyaga. Because up to date, some of the people from my community call it Kirinyaga, the mountain of Kirinyaga. Because Kirinyaga means the mountain of the ostriches, and ostrich was a very sacred animal, a very sacred bird. People couldn't eat the ostriches, so he was called the mountain was called Kirinyaga. Then their god, because they used to pray facing the mountain, they used to call the mountain Mount Kirinyaga. Then their god was called Mwenenyaga, and the Nyaga is the ostrich, which was like the mountain of the ostriches. So now it was very difficult for Wazungu to pronounce Kirinyaga, so they ended up pronouncing it as Kenya. So for a long time, Kenya was referred from the mountain, and it was called the country of with the mountain, with Mount Kenya. So after that, when we gained independence, we didn't change the name of the mountain, and so the country was named after the mountain. Coincidentally, it was Kirinyaga, it was Kenya and Kenyatta. So the airport is named after the first president, and some of the people believe that the president got his name from the mountain. No, from the country, or the country got its name from the first president, but it's just a coincidence. So, and the president was him. He served from 1963, when we gained independence, up to 1978. He died when still in power. We never had a constitution. Then the second president who took power was a vice president who served Kenya for 24 years. The first 4 years, then people changed, and they didn't want his leadership, and he became a dictator. So he managed to rule for 20 extra years.
Wow.
24 years, became the longest serving president. He was a very tough dictator. In case you went against his rule, you could be arrested, tortured in a torture chamber, which is one of the buildings we are going to see as we continue. So we've managed to walk the areas where it was difficult. In case it started raining, we didn't have a place we could look at the shade, we could go for the shade. And now as we walk, the rest of the places are safe. In case the rain starts, we can start in yeah. You good?
Okay.
Yeah. So this one you can take a picture of it.
City Hall?
It's City Hall. It was initially the office of the mayor and the City Hall, but now is the office of the governor of Nairobi. Once we made the new constitution and with the county governments, so the head of the county works from this office.
So only state building you cannot take, but
Yeah, this one you can't, because it's not so much, it's not protected by the military. It's not protected by the police, it's protected by the county government.
I see.
So let's cross the street.
sehen. Gut?
Nimewapiga tenga jinao, unajua vile linaenda. Kuvuka barabara pale.
You are taking photo. You are taking us photo. Where? Stop taking us photo.
Kama nimeenda ni kama nazunguka kuenda Supreme Court pale, nikapita sasa kwa barabara nikaenda mpaka some of them are bitter because you're just taking a video and they want money, and that's why they are bitter.
I face the camera that side.
Yeah. Unasikia? Sasa nikazunguka nikakuja sasa, nikajua sasa hiyo side watachoka, nikakuja nikapitia hapa nyuma wakaida side nyingine, lakini nikasaidia Central Bank, nikakuja KCC nikawabode wote, nimeona nikavuka barabara ofisi ya president, nikafika hapa pale nikaingilia sasa hapo kabaki nikawajenga wakachoka sasa, wakaona hiyo siku sasa niko hapa bana, lakini sasa hivi ndio niko hapa Holy Family kidogo. So this is the Holy Family Basilica. It's a Catholic church. So a church, we don't take a picture of it. So it's called Holy Family Basilica.
You cannot take photo of church?
Yeah, from outside, unless you go inside, and still they don't allow because of this terrorism attack.
My
Made a lot of
goodness.
people be very cautious. That's why even the entrances are, there's a lot of security. Because most of the criminals used to attack churches and the places where there is a lot of Christians and all that. So
Wow.
that's why they are so like and with security. The church, Holy Family Basilica.
Okay.
It's containing.
Hard to believe you cannot take a photo of a church.
Yeah, but it has been like this because of terrorism, just to ensure that you are not taking a picture as a spy. Yeah.
My.
Any questions so far? From Cologne?
Oh, can I ask?
Yeah.
Can you marry someone from your own tribe? Because in Uganda,
Yeah.
my guide said you cannot marry somebody from your own tribe.
Yeah, here we are intermarrying now. Initially, you could not marry to someone from another tribe because of the payments of dowry.
Yeah?
Okay, let's stop somewhere so that I can explain to you.
Okay.
Werden auch so geschickt, weil die Erfolgsschritte sind, aber es nicht verlassen worden.
This part of town is quieter.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
some areas which are quiet, especially with very few the areas where we don't have a lot of businesses. So this is the smoking zone, and so we have very few of these in the streets, and this one has limited the number of smokers on the streets. And this rule since 2009, the Tobacco Act 2009, it has lowered the number of smokers because we have very few of these. So in case you are a smoker and you used to be a very tough smoker, then you find yourself, you got a job in the city, you're working in maybe even a building closer to this point, but maybe on the 9th, 10th floor. Walking every now and then to the smoking zone, which is in a cage, it has limited the number of smokers. So majority of the people don't smoke. Most of the young people are not smoking. But the elderly people, the likes of our parents, used to smoke a lot. But it also brought smoking discipline to them. You find they smokes, but not like before where someone could smoke anywhere. Even in the villages, someone smokes, like could leave the family and go outside and smoke from outside. Yeah. The cigarettes are very cheap here. You don't even need to buy like a packet of cigarettes. You can go to a smoking zone like this. You buy one cigarette, you smoke. Once you are done, you leave. You can even make the homemade cigarettes. People make homemade cigarettes, like with roll up. Yeah, like the roll up, and which is very cheap. So the only expensive type of a cigarette is e-cigarette. The government has ensured high taxes to the e-cigarettes, so that now it has become difficult for the young people and the people to smoke. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. So smoking has been like, it's very low in terms of, in comparison with the before.
Alcohol?
Alcohol is expensive in comparison with how much people earns. About 300 to 450 this amount of money that people earns a month. So you will have 300 to 400
US dollars.
USD, and then you need to pay houses, taxes, and all that, transport and all that. So majority of the people will not afford to buy to have enough like every day. But the people who works like in the cities and the poor people, some of them would not want to even save anything. So the amount of money they get, they will ensure that they have breakthrough for them, and they live like, we have lots of people in the streets who live like homeless people, but it's because they got addicted to cheap alcohols and all that. Then we have a type of drug called cat, which people chew. It's like leaves from a certain tree.
Beetle, is it beetle leaf?
Yeah, they are a little bit bitter, but people chew it with chewing gums and
No, the one that makes your mouth orange.
yeah. The ones that makes your teeth orange, the ones that makes, like, people will chew a lot until their mouth is like full. So most of the young people are doing it because it's cheaper and it has been legalized in our country. So it's legal, we grow it here and we export it to other countries with
But
only
you can
one
get
USD.
cancer, right?
No, mostly they get like stomach problems.
Oh.
Yeah, because they'll chew a lot, you lose appetite. It takes you so many hours without sleep. It's like coca leaves. So most of the young people, they are affordable to the young people, and so most of the young people you find them chewing. They will chew it here and it's not sold here, but you will find people buying it in the downtowns, and it's chewed. It's exported to other countries like Middle East and so many of those countries, and also to Somalia. So it's one of the famous drugs that most of the young people chew here. Cat.
How you spell?
K-H-A-T. Cat.
Oh, cut.
Cut.
Cut means the Islamic drawing, the square ones.
Yeah.
Islamic art.
Yeah. Any question?
Just now I asked whether you can marry within your tribe.
yeah,
Like in Uganda,
Yeah.
you cannot marry someone who's in your same tribe.
So there's
Yeah.
difference between tribal and clan.
Oh
So
yeah,
people
clan.
from your own clan you can't get married to, because it's like part of your family. It's like extended family. But people from your tribe in the 42 tribes, the only tribe that we rarely intermarry, or maybe we don't intermarry, is the Indians, because they are also considered as a tribe because of their cultures and traditions. That's why under the new constitution we considered Indians as a tribe. So the rest of the tribes we can intermarry, and the reason we can intermarry now is because of there is no language barriers now. At least our grandparents, our parents can speak in Swahili, but initially we could only get married to someone from your tribe. And the reason we could only get married to someone of your tribe is because of the language barrier. Because once you are getting married in our communities, in our tribes, you have to pay dowry to the family of the girl. So a daughter belongs to the father. Once you want to get married to this daughter, you pay the dowry to the father, which is negotiable. So negotiating and discussion was very difficult because of the language barrier. But once now parents can speak in Swahili, at least my grandparents, my uncles, my parents can speak to the family of the girl and negotiate and come up with the decision of how much we are going to pay.
Is the dowry in money or like how many cows? Or
yeah,
something?
it's cows and sheep. Because cows will change their value, but the number of cows will never change. So if it was 100 cows for the dowry, it's 100 cows. And once you get married and you get some daughters, you will not ask for more cows or sheep or camels than the ones that you asked for their mother. So in case you were asked 70 cows for her, your daughter is 70 or less than that. Yeah, whether she went to school, whether she's beautiful, whether she comes from a rich family, those are the things we consider. So when we are negotiating, they are like, remember those days you were asked 70, but now 70 times the amount of cows, the amount of money a cow will cost. So that discussion will be like, you will say, oh, my daughter is very educated and she's going to be of more benefit to your family once she get married. She's beautiful. You can see I'm a rich man, so she comes from a rich family. Because the rich always wanted to intermarry with the rich. So those are the negotiations. So negotiation is mostly on how many cows. Then you convert the cows into the amount of money, especially for us who live in the cities. You can't have cows in the cities, so you convert the value of one cow times the number of cows you are asked, and you pay the money. You can pay in installments, you can pay in cash. Yeah.
So the value keep getting lower and lower and lower.
The value can keep getting lower, or maybe like
constant
depending with the family of the girl. Yeah.
At
And also
what
the family
age?
of the man. Sorry?
At what age they get married?
Mostly nowadays is from, the ladies is from 25 and above. It's like 20, 25 and above. But for the men, mostly it's like 25, 27, 29, 30.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only one wife?
We have 3 types of marriages.
Okay.
Civil marriage, which is borrowed. We didn't have this before. Religious marriage, which is borrowed. We never had religions. People had their ways of worship. Lastly is the tradition marriage, which is also called customary marriage, because it's the marriage within your customs and traditions. That one, you can get married to more than one wife. But religious and civil, only one wife, because it's like a contract. Yeah. And the constitution gives us opportunities of getting married to more than one wife under only traditional marriage. So if you and your wife prefer traditional marriage, the wife knows that in future the man can get married to more than one wife, because the constitution supports.
Is it common?
Not very common, but most of the people are marrying one wife and without even doing any type of marriage, without even a certificate of marriage. Then in future you will get a side chick.
Side chick. Oh
Side
wow,
chick.
side chick.
It's called side chick. It's like a chick on the side. But
I know what it is.
yeah, but it's like it's a mistress. In your country
Yeah.
it's mistress, but she's called here a side,
Side
chick.
chick.
Because it's like a chick on the side, which is not known by the other chick on this side. So it's a very hidden.
But
it's a
the
very,
the side chick could have a few cockerels.
yeah. Sometimes she can have cockroaches, but because you haven't paid dowries for her,
Yeah.
and you can sire children for her. And once maybe the first wife realizes that you had a side chick,
Yeah.
she can sue you.
Oh.
But once you have sired children together and the court realizes that you are sent for a DNA test for the children, and in case it proves that the children are yours, then the court will give you a chance to ask them, anyone who want to be left in that house, or maybe anyone who want to be left as a wife to you should be left, and the other one can leave. Then once one of them leaves, the court will tell you to take care of the children, like children upkeeps and all that. So you will be taking care of the children for both families, and you'll be left with the one who decides to live with you. But now the charge comes in case you were married at a civil or religious marriage, because that is like a breach of contract. But in most cases, most of the people are not doing these types of marriages. They are just getting married. You can live with someone's daughter after paying the dowry without getting married, unless maybe maybe where you work you are asked for certificate of marriage. You don't need a certificate of marriage, which is making it very easy for most of these African men. You can just wake up in the morning and tell your wife, I feel like I don't want to be married anymore, so can we part ways? And whoever has contributed to the properties that you have is the owner of those properties. Yeah.
But the wife doesn't work, so it belongs to the husband.
So if the wife doesn't work, then the properties are yours.
Oh wow.
You'll be only told to take care of the children, and of course the children will leave the mom until the age of
21.
18.
18?
Yeah. So at that time, you'll be providing for both the mother and the children. So at the end of the day, you provide, but the properties are all yours. Then in case you have certificate of marriage, sometimes that one will allow men to divide the properties. Or in case the wife is the one who is working, once you part ways, that means the properties are hers, and so you don't have to follow any of them, because she will be living with the children, and she's the one who has contributed to the properties, so a man is left as a poor man. So the choice is between the people. Yeah. Any question as we continue? This one is called the point zero. The point zero of the military stone, because it had measures of distances in miles and in kilometers from the cities we had in Africa before, even today. So from here to Salisbury, Bulawayo, Pretoria, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Arusha, Dodoma, Tambora, Mombasa, Kisumu, Cairo, all those capital cities. When we never had smartphones and Google Maps, this is where majority of the people used to measure distances from. So all the measurements of distances from Nairobi to other places, we used to measure them from.
Is there a main post office here?
Yeah, we are going to see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Usually in British countries,
Yeah.
point zero is where the main post office is.
Yeah, it's actually here.
Ah,
So the point zero was supposed to be measured from there, but now this one is the point zero.
okay.
Where's this? Wait. Let's continue. This is the oldest post office. So initially, like in Europe and those countries, the measurement of distances is from the post office. So this is the post office, but now that one works as our point zero. So it's called GPO, General Post Office, and that's why this is called GPO, General Post Office, because it's the oldest post office in Nairobi. Next to this building is called Huduma Center. Huduma means services. That's where we apply, we get all the government services from. In case I need a driver's license, in case I need a birth certificate, in case I need ID, in case I need all those services, we get them under that building. Initially, we used to get it from here. The building is called Kipande House. Kipande is a Swahili word which means a piece of. So when we got colonized, a piece of everything, like a piece of metal, a piece of plastic, a piece of food, a piece of all those things, called Kipande. When we got colonized, the ID was issued here because people never had ID. So when it was introduced, this is where we had issuance of ID. And because the issuance of ID was at this building, the building was named after the ID. That's why it was called the Kipande House. Then it happened to become the tallest building in the years of 1920s, 1930s. It was the tallest building. So during the colonial time, 1920s, 1930s, this one was the tallest building in Nairobi.
Art Deco.
Yeah.
Art Deco style.
It's called?
Art Deco. The architecture.
Yeah. Then we have the tall building was the torture chamber during the leadership of the second president. Yeah, the yellow light building, which is called Nyayo House. It's the torture. It was a torture chamber for everyone who was against the leadership of the first president, Moi. He was a dictator because he felt like people were not supporting his presidency. So he changed and became a very tough dictator. So everyone, in case you are against him, in case you are against his policies, that's where you would be arrested. Both men and women were arrested together. So it was a very tough torture chamber. And a lot of men died from there, a lot of young people died, a lot of men and women got married there. So it was a much building. So there were a lot of children born there. So it was hatching. A lot of people who died and were taken away from the building and dispatched. So it was a dispatch building. So we used to call it a building of hatches, matches and dispatches. But now is our immigration building. That's where we apply our passports from. So it's called, I would call it like a dispatch building. So it's called Nyayo House. It was one of the tallest building in around 1980s, 1990s. So from here I want us to see a market. This colorful building, especially from the other side, is a market. But I want us to get through this entrance. It sells a lot of fresh flowers. These are fresh flowers grown in Kenya, in Naivasha, closer to the Rift Valley. They are exported to Europe and so many other African countries as well. They also sold locally to during weddings, Valentine's, birthdays, burials and all that. So and funerals, we buy the flowers also from. Now this market is not for export, but for the locally sold flowers. Then from inside they sell souvenirs. It's more of like a Maasai market, because most of the vendors, most of the people who sell souvenirs in the Maasai market gets them from this market. So we will see from inside. Then there is a part of the market which sells fresh meat. Most of the fresh meat we buy locally, and the restaurants buy bought from this market, which attracts a lot of birds called marabou stork, one of the flying birds with the biggest wingspan, and a bird which is known to be among the ugly five. So I want us to go to the market and see it. We will also see the
bats.
The birds. Yeah, it's called marabou stork. Yeah.
Are they eaten?
No, the birds are not eaten because they are scavengers, but they actually have very acidic poop. So that's why even people don't eat it, because they seem to be very acidic.
Then why do they sell it?
No, the meat. The meat is sold inside, but
Oh.
the birds like living closer inside the market, so
Oh.
that they can feed from the leftovers of this meat.
Oh, scavengers.
They are scavengers.
One
Yeah.
of the ugly five, so
Yeah.
the big five and the ugly five.
We have big 5, ugly 5, and special 5.
What?
The ugly 5, we have the bird, which is called marabou stork. We are going to see it. We have the vultures. We have the wild beasts.
What's a vulture?
Vultures? They are like
The big birds who eat.
Oh, vulture, vulture.
the vultures.
Okay.
Yeah. We have wild beasts during the Great Migration.
That's ugly.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Oh,
Then we have pumba or warthog.
they're cute. They're so cute.
Warthog. Pumba. And lastly is hyena.
Hyena. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
What's the special 5?
the special 5 are found in a national park called Samburu. They are the animals which live so many. They can live for a long time without water because they live on a dry area, a dry park. So one of them is a type of a giraffe called reticulated giraffe. A type of an ostrich which has a grey neck. It's called Somali ostrich. Another one is a type of a gazelle which has a long neck, and it's called gerenuk, which means a giraffe neck because it's long. Another one is the other one is a type of zebra,
Zebra.
which is bigger than the normal zebra, with a different pattern of the zebra. It's called gravy zebra. And lastly is
Elephant?
no,
No.
it's a type
Buffalo?
of, no, it's a type of we have gerenuk, we have reticulated giraffe, we have heavy zebra. Oh, a type of gazelle,
Gazelle.
which is called
It's okay, we can Google.
it's only one, but I'm forgetting. It's very
You
huge.
Google, yeah.
It's called Samburu National Park.
Samburu. Is it far from here?
It's about 6 hours drive.
Oh wow, far.
It's one
Very
of
far.
my favorite national.
So it's not Masai Mara, it's a different.
Yeah, Masai Mara, we have the big 5. When you hear people going to Samburu, they mostly go to look for the special.
Special
But
5.
do you pass like the Zamburu?
You know, you pass it by the
Or is
equator
like different?
towards the northern part of Kenya.
Okay, so
Past a place called Nanyuki.
so the Serengeti is next to the Masai Mara.
Yeah, it's on the southern part.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an extension of.
So basically the same thing in different countries.
Yeah, basically the same place but different countries.
Sister. Hi. Welcome.
Jambo. You take a look. Take a photo. It's welcome.
Yeah. Only recording?
Thĩinĩ wa thinema ya kĩrũrĩrĩ.
Where?
We have these bags here.
Oh my god! Vulture! That's not a bat!
Yes, madam.
Scavengers.
Everything to the market. The government relocated the markets from here to the downtown, closer to the Bombras area where we went. Then this one has been left as a historic market. That's why they sell fresh meat, fresh flowers, and souvenirs. Any question?
So this is mostly for tourists.
It's like both the locals and the tourists, but once they see the tourists, it's more like an advantage.
Muzungu tax.
Yeah, Muzungu Muzungu doesn't bargain
Yeah.
like the local people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ja, das ist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, initially Nairobi was a forest. That's why the Maasais used to live in Nairobi. So that's why Nairobi is the only city with a national park. So most of these animals, most of these birds used to live here when it was a forest. Then now it's a city, and some of them now depends on the leftovers of the meat from the market, and they will feed from the trashes. So the next thing we are going to see is a mosque, because we already saw a church. You remember a church, a Catholic church? I told you 60% of Kenyans are Christians, 15 are Muslims, the rest are Hindus, Jews, and also a number of them who doesn't belong to any religion. So I want us to see a mosque. Then from the mosque, we are going to see one of the historic buildings in the city. And in the next few minutes, we are almost winding up, so we are going to finish in the next few minutes.
Can we take photo of the mosque?
Yeah.
But why you can take photo of mosque and not the church?
Because mostly the terrorists used to be Muslims,
Oh.
and they used to attack churches, so we protected the churches. But now they have never attacked any mosque. So the mosques are not so much protected.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Maasai people are what kind of religion do they?
They used to have their own religion, but nowadays they belong to most of them are Christians, but we have some of them who are also Muslims.
All right.
But very few.
Can they all speak English?
Not all of them.
No.
A number
No,
of
no,
them
no.
doesn't go to school. Not all of them who goes to school, so they rarely speaks in. Not all of them who speaks in English. But at least now we can say a lot of people are going to schools.
It's not compulsory.
Oh, this is the same kid that was there before.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What are you telling me?
So
Me too.
the question was. Yeah.
Is it compulsory to go to school?
Yeah, it's compulsory, but some of the communities
No, not me.
still don't go to school. Acha kusumbua. Hata sisi hatujakula. So it's mandatory to go to school at certain ages, but not all the communities. That's why you find like the Muslims are like the Maasais. Some of them practices some of the things that are not allowed in our country, like FGM, the female circumcisions and all that. Wait.
Behind it.
Okay. So that's why I would say some of the communities still are far much behind in comparison with other communities. So people from the central Kenya have been like exposed and are civilized than those people who live in the forest, who never go to school and all that. But at least I would say that currently almost every community is going to school. Yeah, so in future I believe most of the young generations will have gone to school than those people of old age like our fathers.
So I think you said it before, but is it obligatory to go to school?
Yeah. It's mandatory, but some of the communities feel like education is not still a necessity to them. Yeah. And the government is not very strict on them like they are to people of my community. People from the central Kenya and the central part of Kenya, they go to school. But those who like northeastern, like you've been to the northern, they don't go to, not all of the children go to school. The facilities, the life is very tough to them, but
Is he an orphan?
no, they just take advantage of
Muzungu.
streets, and they take advantage of Muzungu. And they will just want to be stubborn, and ensure that nothing is going, like the guide is not doing, because you can't beat him, when you chase him away, you can do nothing. So at the end of the day, he's just left walking around.
Oh, he's targeting the other group.
Targeting.
Harassing other
Yeah. So they take advantage of that.
Okay.
So you good?
Yeah, very good.
Let's continue. No questions so far?
I asked so many already.
Yeah, no questions from Germany, from Scotland.
Do the Christian and Muslim get married together?
No.
No.
It's very common that Christians
common?
marry Christians, Muslims marry Muslims. Unless you convert. They would
Oh.
ask you to convert.
You convert to the husband or must convert to Muslim?
So if a man is a Christian and want to get married to a Muslim lady,
Yeah.
the family of the girl will ask you to convert to Islam.
Oh,
If
so it's one way only, right?
yeah, one
It's
way.
not like following the male.
Yeah, but in case a Muslim girl want to get married to a Christian,
Yeah.
and they feel like they want to just get married, it's not one way. You don't have to convert to become a Christian for you to get married to a Muslim. But for you to get married to a Muslim, most of the families would ask the person getting married to a Muslim to convert to Islam.
Yeah. In Malaysia, it's compulsory. If you marry Muslim, you must convert to be a
Yeah,
Muslim.
I think it's the same with here.
It's like a-
unless maybe for on personal level that you feel like I want to
Yeah.
get married to
Malaysia, you cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to, they won't allow it. And if divorce,
Yeah, there's a mosque.
you cannot convert out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the biggest mosque in the city, but not the oldest. We have a lot of old mosques, both in the city and in the coast where Islamic started.
Sunni or Shia?
That one is very confusing. Which one is in Iraq?
Iraq
I
is
think it's both.
Shia in the south
Yeah.
Shia.
and Sunni in Kurdistan.
Yeah.
Oh. So I think, and which is more in Middle East,
Sunni.
Sunni. So that one is the one that we have. It's Sunni. I forget. So once I am asked, I first of all ask about Iraq, Iran, capital is
Iran is Shia, right? Iran, Iraq, Shia.
Iran is Shia.
Yeah.
So it's here is Sunni.
Sunni.
Yeah, it's different from that. So this is a mosque. It's about 100 and something years. So it's the biggest in the city.
It was built by Said,
So during fasting month, are y'all allowed to eat? Like
For the Muslims,
in Zanzibar, I went to Zanzibar. So they said during fasting month, everybody cannot eat in public, even non-Muslim.
ours we can. Because for example, like this is a restaurant just opposite the mosque. Whether they are fasting or not, we as Christians go and eat. Yeah.
So it's okay.
It's not a Muslim.
Sometimes, it's not a Muslim country. So we also feel, sometimes you will feel like you are feeding them because you are tempting hungry people to eat, but because you are hungry and maybe you have a tour at 2 p.m. So you have to eat because you need to walk when you're on your phone. So we eat. Because it's not a Muslim country, we have freedom of worship. You can belong to any religion, so you can't be forced by anyone.
But you can change if you want.
You can change if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So good.
Okay.
No question from there.
Ooh, Beirut, Lebanon.
Welcome, madam.
So you are going to live.
Wow, what a nice building.
What's this?
It's the right word. The part like we have in Nairobi.
Yeah.
It's
Looks so
called
Greek.
Yeah, but it was constructed by a family from US on behalf of their family, or like a family member who died, and he was a very famous philanthropist. We have everyone. We still have no. We have everyone. So we have our relatives. Yes, we'll be able to explain to everyone. So this library is named after Macmillan, who was a very famous philanthropist. He did so many things, and we remember him of so many things he did to the people, especially helping families who, when education was not a necessity. He used to help families get access to education. And now, when he died, he would be forgotten. So the family decided to build something on his behalf. So they were helped by some of the colleagues from US, because it was a family from US. They built this library from 1929, and by 1931 the building was complete, and it became
almost 100 years.
Nairobi is as old as 120 something years, not very old. Nairobi started growing from 1900 to 1909, so by 1909 it was considered as a city. So they became the biggest library in the city and the oldest library in the city, then the second biggest in Kenya. So once you go to Mombasa, we have the biggest and the oldest. So this one is called Macmillan, in the memory of Macmillan. Yeah.
Mostly English books?
Mostly English and Swahili.
Swahili.
But I think the majority of them are English books.
Why are there some women so overdressed? Like the one here in the car, she's...
I think some of these are like African clothing, and most of them are like...
There's another woman on the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah. I think they were doing some videos or
photo shoot.
And photo shoot, yeah. Because this building is used by a lot of professional photographers.
Okay.
Yeah, because you might take a picture and post it on your social media and someone thinks you went to Germany or
Yeah.
or
Greece.
Yeah, or Greece because of its architecture. It's one of the buildings which has, from the few old buildings we've seen in the city, these are one of the buildings which looks very old and of
Grand.
European architecture. Yeah. Some of them people post on their social media without knowing that in Europe there is no palm trees. And they will put some caption as if they travel.
I'm in Rome.
Yeah, I'm in Rome, I'm in Germany, yeah. So it's called Macmillan. That's why you find a lot of professional photographers there. Yeah. Then we have the huge building in front of us. It's called the Nation Center, which has got a media company called the Nation Media Group, which is privately owned. It's owned by an Indian or a man of Indian descent. It's called Aga Khan. The man is called Aga Khan. Aga Khan 4. They have a lot of private businesses like universities and they are universities. They are private hospital, the biggest private hospital we have. So this is one of the biggest private media company called NTV. A TV called NTV. Once we have any protest in the streets, we have so many things happening in the government, this is the most preferred media company because of its less influence from the government. It's called the Nation TV, NTV. And the building is also used as a landmark. It's one of the buildings which is used as a reference building when people are new to the city. Yeah.
Are a lot of businesses here owned by Indians?
Yeah, Nairobi has one of the biggest Indian community. That's why we also incorporated Indian as a tribe in our constitution. We used to have 42 tribes. Then around 2010, we realized that Indians are like a community. They have their own cultures, traditions and all that. And so we consider them as a tribe. That's why we have 43 tribes.
Which part of India? Are they Gujarati?
I think a mixture of them.
Mixture?
Yeah, mixture of them.
Like Malaysia is Tamil Nadu.
I think
mostly Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, I think majority are Gujarati.
Gujarati.
Yeah, but there is a mixture of them. Yeah. And it's because once we gained independence, the two countries, Kenya and Uganda, the biggest Indian population in Uganda was chased away by Idi Amin, and they found one of the places to settle was in Kenya, and the best places was in Nairobi because this is where we had the biggest population of Indians, and they are the ones who helped Nairobi to grow as a city. They live in a certain area. They own businesses in almost every part of the central part of Nairobi. So we have a very big Indian population here in Nairobi, and also in other parts of the country. But currently we are rarely intermarrying. We are not so much intermarrying.
Yesterday I went Junction Mall.
Yeah.
I noticed the boss of the supermarket is Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of some of the big supermarkets are owned by Indians. Yeah. But most of them are business people. They are not in offices and all that. They are mostly in businesses. Just like the immigrants of Somalia and other neighboring countries. Most of them, when they move here, because of education and challenges from their country, they are starting businesses. We are one of the developed countries economically in the neighboring countries. So businesses are doing very well for foreigners.
Okay.
Those Indians came for the railroads.
Yeah, Indians came when India got colonized.
Yeah.
And some of the Arabs were running away from the Oman rulers and the conflict, so they settled in the coast. And then they settled here during the construction of the Kenya-Uganda railway. They engaged in the construction. Once they arrived in Nairobi, when the city started growing, they engaged in businesses, and so majority of them also came from the coast and to the interior during the construction of the Kenya-Uganda railway. Any questions?